Hey everyone, me Kevin here. If you have not yet, please sign up for the PPP. If you're self-employed, Uber driver, Lyft, realtor, hairstylist, whatever, if you're self-employed, please consider doing this. When in doubt, apply. You could literally apply before this video ends. The SBA has announced that they have had record signups for this round of the PPP because more people are familiar with it. They're seeing how other people are succeeding with it. When in doubt, do it. I dare ya. Big free money and tax break. Like, you gotta do it. Also, for everyone else, if you have not yet filed, or really everyone, if you have not yet filed your 2020 tax returns and your income has gone down, consider filing your taxes soon. The IRS is supposedly accepting tax returns now, and if your income went down, you want to make sure you're fully eligible for this next stimulus check. So filing might help you ensure that you get that next stimulus check, especially if you're close to that $75,000 or over threshold for single individuals or $150K or over for couples. Now, if your income went up in 2020, well, first of all, congratulations, but you might want to hang on to your 2019 eligibility for a check and not file yet. Remember, the IRS says if you get a check issued to you and it's an overpayment, you get to keep it. This is not true, though. By the way, keep this in mind for if the unfortunate event that a family member passes away, if you get somebody else's check and it's an overpayment or an accident, like somebody gets a stimulus check who passed away, technically you don't get to keep that person's stimulus check. Though there is a possibility that we're going to see funeral reimbursements of up to $7,500. So keep your documentation, certificates on that if this applies to you. And if it does, I am very, very deeply sorry. At this point, the $1,400 stimulus checks are also very likely to maintain the same phase-outs for those making over $75K single, $150K as a couple. 50 House progressives signed a letter demanding that these thresholds stay this way when the package goes to the Senate. And so far, we haven't heard Joe Manchin come out and say that he's definitely going to vote against these phase-outs. He wanted lower phase-outs, but so far he's kind of passively accepting them. I think he had bigger concerns previously, and then he got a lot of flack, and since then he's kind of chilled back a little bit. We haven't had too many quotes coming out of Joe Manchin's office lately. We've only really heard from Kristen Sinema complaining about the $15 minimum wage. Progressive Democrats, by the way, have also tabled or paused or put a hold on their calls for a full $2,000 stimulus check, essentially settling on $1,400. On the minimum wage, the Senate parliamentarian will soon rule on whether or not the $15 minimum wage is allowed to be passed under the rules for budget reconciliation. However, the White House, get this, is already indicating that they may ask Kamala Harris to vote against the $15 minimum wage in the event the parliamentarian says, no, we can't do the minimum wage in this. So, quick step back so we have clarity on this. Senate parliamentarian is not affiliated with a party. They will look at the rules and go, do we think we can get the $15 minimum wage passed under budget recon? If they say yes, okay, fair game. Let's try to vote for the $15 minimum wage. However, if the parliamentarian says, no, I don't think so, technically Senate Democrats and Kamala Harris could overrule the parliamentarian. But Joe Biden's White House so far is saying they plan to instruct Kamala Harris not to overrule the parliamentarian. This seems crazy because, after all, it is Biden who does want a $15 minimum wage, but he believes that now might be a better time to just leave the $15 negotiation to an outside negotiation, that is, outside of stimulus talks, and that by talking about the minimum wage separately, maybe he'll be able to get 60 votes total, including 10 Republicans, for the stimulus package. Which for Biden, this is actually a potential investment today into getting 60 votes again in the future. See, if he sidelines too many Republicans today, he could end up getting burned on bipartisan deals in the future. You can't always work with bipartisan 51-vote rules. So he kind of has to play a little bit of a chess game here. He's trying to make decisions that are going to benefit him and Democrats in the long run, though that could burn some progressives and Democrats now in the short term. Tough balance. It's kind of like he's trying to plant seeds now that'll benefit in the future, but whether or not those will bear fruit, nobody really knows. We'll see. But this is Biden's way of showing that he is trying to be as bipartisan as possible, and some are concerned that when we look at the impeachment vote, only 7 Republicans flipped, which means 57, not 60 votes in total. But Biden purposefully stood on the sidelines on the impeachment vote. So maybe that means he could still convince some Republicans who voted to acquit Donald Trump to support him in the stimulus package because he purposefully didn't choose sides on the impeachment vote. He always said, let Congress make a decision. It's almost kind of like he knew that Donald Trump would end up getting acquitted, and he purposefully tried staying out of it. Who knows? Maybe we're giving him too much credit. This is just kind of the way it seems looking in from the outside, never trying to take sides, just making an observation. It could be dumb luck after all, right? But anyway, if Biden tells Kamala Harris not to rule against the parliamentarian, basically killing the $15 minimum wage for now in an effort to get Republican support, he's going to face a lot of backlash from progressives. In fact, the current movement is being labeled the Fight for 15 movement. And this is partially because people believe that if the $15 minimum wage doesn't pass now, it's just never going to end up happening. Now, I want to just mention this because it's a fun fact. The parliamentarian is not an elected person. This person is actually Elizabeth McDonough, and there's no party listed when I look her up, but I was able to find the fun fact of her salary. She gets paid $171,315 per year based on the Congressional Research Services report, which, by the way, that report also says that the Senate majority and minority leaders, and in the House, get paid exactly the same amount, about $193,000. So if you wanted to see Mitch McConnell get a pay cut after he lost Senate Majority Leader and went to Senate Minority Leader, unfortunately, he still gets paid the same amount if you wanted to see that. But on the flip side, if you want to know how Nancy Pelosi's pay compares, as Speaker of the House, she actually makes $30,000 more than Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell. Just a little fun fact. Now, moving on, Matt Bennett, an official over at a Democratic think tank, one of the top ones according to Politico, says here's the thing about the minimum wage. It's an important issue, but we have time. It's going to phase in over time anyway. It's not like if we pass it now or in 2 months or in 6 months, it's going to make that big of a difference because the plan is not to phase the $15 minimum wage in until 2025 anyway. So Matt Bennett thinks, hey, look, this is an important issue, but it's not an emergency. We'll deal with it within the next 2 years, but not now. On top of this debate over the minimum wage, Joe Biden mentioned today that stricter gun laws should be implemented sooner rather than later, and he's called on Congress to do that. Today is the 3rd anniversary of the shooting at Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, which is about 25 minutes away from where I grew up, and I used to personally debate students while I was in high school from Stoneman Douglas High School. Washington Post, or The Washington Post today, also ran a story about Biden winning support for $1.9 trillion as a stimulus package amongst mayors throughout the country, specifically because Biden's plan does provide $350 billion in aid directly to state and local governments, something that state and local governments have desperately been demanding since pretty much around May when this topic first came up with the first passing of the HEROES Act. Mayors across the country, including Republican Mayor Francis Suarez of Miami, are not only in support of the aid, but Mr. Suarez specifically says that he has actually spoken to the Biden administration about this issue, or really any issue, more since January 20th than he has spoken to the previous White House administration in 4 years. A clear indication, at least from a Republican mayor, that mayors are getting more attention now than they previously were. Now, who knows? Maybe he's just saying this because he wants money from Biden. Oklahoma City's mayor also said, quote, "I don't know of any city that hasn't been negatively affected by the pandemic. In other words, please send us some money." There are also now rumors that Lara Trump, the wife of Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump, might end up running for Senate in North Carolina in 2022, partially because Republican Senator Richard Burr voted to convict Donald Trump in the impeachment hearings. On COVID, Louisiana State University just co-authored a study suggesting that there could be up to 7 variants of COVID spreading throughout the United States. They say this is not unusual because obviously we've heard this many times before, viruses mutate, but concerns are that some of these variants could be more contagious or even more deadly and we just don't know yet. So that means we got the South Africa variant, the UK variant, and 5 others. I wonder what the others are going to be called. So far, also 4.2% of America has been fully vaccinated and 12% of America has had at least 1 dose. Thank you so much for watching. Get your life insurance in as little as 5 minutes via the link down below. Go to metkevin.com/life or get 2 totally free stocks with Webull by going to metkevin.com/Webull. Also check out the coupon code down below for building your wealth with the amazing programs and stock alerts that you can get in the Stocks and Psychology of Money program. And folks, We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.